This is why I need an engineer.
I know. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, look. It's a little bit of a glow at the bottom there.
Hold on now.
I'm not sure why the camera suddenly looked different today, but whatever.
Does it look bad?
Still see it, but it says it is what it is today.
There's nothing I can do with that camera.
There it is. It's good enough.
It's not going to stand up by itself.
Oh, well, just...
What about there?
I don't know. If you want to disconnect it, you can disconnect. Turn it off.
Yeah, because it's in the frame.
Just get rid of it.
Bye. Sorry.
Bye. All right. Sorry, we're having technical difficulties today with some other stuff here. So we're here. Give us 1 second. Things are crazy.
You're trying to do too many things at one time. Sorry, dog. I hit the dog on accident.
I'm sorry if you're trying to stream on my page. It's not going to work.
Hi.
On Facebook.
Hello.
So you're not even ready over here, are you?
I am right now. I'm on. Are you on?
I'm on. We're live on the other part.
Oh, hi.
I'm sorry. We're wasting time.
Welcome.
We're trying to.
Oh, we look good though. Look at that. What, girl?
Do we?
We look good.
You're a weirdo.
Hello. Welcome to this week's messed up episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live.
We already got somebody who goes, "You're late." Yeah, we know.
We know we're late.
We're having a technical issue today.
Who said we're late? How rude, sir.
The one guy that watches our show tries to regularly. Now he couldn't for a long time. Now he can, so he's irritated because he's late.
Well, just so everyone knows, we're typically late.
We try to be a couple of minutes, but today there's
technical difficulties. Please stand
today
by.
There was things shifting and bouncing. It wasn't working right.
Make sure you watch us, hopefully on Facebook or on YouTube Live, Hollywood Matrimony. We're also on the Twitter at Hollywood Matter, MATR. And we're also on Instagram at Hollywood Matrimony. Let's get to today's show. What are we talking about today? We have a couple of things. We'll be talking about a couple of movies, some fun things that happened at the theater. And yeah. So what movie do you want to start with today?
Well, that's a good.
We got a cool double feature.
Yeah, we. Well, we got that. We've got like an action movie. We obviously some horror. We got a cartoon. We've got a couple of other things I saw that were like straight to video type stuff or re-release. Oh, we have a re-release DVD from the classic film to talk about.
We got to talk about that too.
What would you like to start with, ma'am? I want to let you choose.
I think let's start with the movie Anna. Or Anna.
Is this the life story of Anna Kendrick?
It is, which would actually be thrilling, I'm sure.
I don't think that would be thrilling in any way.
She has really big teeth that are a little bit off-putting to me.
Wow, that was just an attack.
But I do too. But I think hers are a little more beavery than mine. Mine are chiclety, and then hers are beavery. Anyhow, the movie Anna is about, I can't see because I don't have my glasses on.
That's what you did.
Oh, well, delete it.
I did. It published it anyway, I guess.
Oh, well, delete post. The movie is about, it's like a spy thriller. That's all we knew going into it. What did you think about it? I don't want to say too much because it's actually, I enjoyed it, but you know.
What, Anna?
Anna.
I'm sorry, we're being you today and not paying attention to you.
How rude. Dude,
well,
we are on a live show.
We are, but I was in the middle of
people are watching us right now.
I was in the middle of trying to set up. What is it? Anna?
Would you like a spicy nut?
I have spicy nuts.
Yeah, that's not good, is it?
It's only when you don't bathe.
Wow. Anna.
Actually, I enjoyed it. It wasn't the action movie I thought we were going to get. Because the trailer.
You opened my nut.
This is the second thing today you couldn't open. She couldn't open a bag of chips earlier. It was like watch somebody that had no, like she had no hands trying to open a bag of chips.
Thank you.
The trailer kind of promotes it almost like a really heavy action movie, and it is. It has some action sequences. It's really only like 2 big action sequences, which is the one you see in the trailer. Then there's the one later in the movie.
Yes. There's a lot of cool stuff in the
yeah. There's a lot of stuff to see, and it's more of an it's very Red Sparrow like.
That's what I was thinking about it.
But I enjoyed it for what it was. It felt like old school Luc Besson.
Yes.
Where he kind of went back to basics, you know, after I'm sure the devastating failure of Valerian at the box office. because that was like his passion
I
project
liked
forever. Well, I thought it was
It was
okay.
pretty. The
It was
story was
beautiful,
a little
and
clunky.
yeah, but it just didn't make any money. And like,
Yeah.
I believe it almost if not bankrupt, Europacorp, which is his production company. So I thought that had closed down. So I was surprised when I saw the logo.
No, Europa.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw the logo. So it wasn't bad, but this one, I felt like he went back to, the professional in that time period in his career to kind of do something different.
What I really enjoyed
same.
On this one was the cool storytelling. Because, you'll be here and then it'll be like, oh, this now. And then be like, but 1 year ago.
Yeah, it was a lot of back and forth.
But I enjoyed it because it kept it exciting. It kept it moving.
Right.
Because there is a lot of talk and then a couple of fights here and there. But it's a lot of talk and it's
a lot of talking.
Thriller. There's a lot of talking. But it's a thriller. But it's, sometimes it's slow.
Yeah, because it's dialogue heavy on purpose because it's telling the story, and there's a lot of twists and turns and a lot of it's a little predictable. I found as good as I found it, I did find that I had figured out a lot of it before it actually happened. I figured out, some of the direction of what they were going to be doing and why they were going to do it, but it was still in a way that it was enjoyable.
Yeah.
It was far from, it's not as good as The Professional or some of his other stuff, but it was back to being like that and La Femme Nikita and some of those others that he did.
It was really good. I liked it. I would pay to watch it again.
Would you?
I would. Because I like this main girl too.
Sasha Luss or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which it was funny because I read a review that they were talking about like, well, she did an excellent job at playing a model. I mean, well, she is a model.
She is a model.
That was it.
Like
if you've wondered if you've ever seen her before,
you
haven't seen her, but she played one of the alien queen, the main alien queen in Valerian. So she was CGI. So you
kind of saw her, but with that gray makeup with the.
Well, she was CGI. She wasn't.
Okay, well,
sure.
It looked just like her.
And did it?
Yeah, because it was her in the makeup.
It was blue with gills and exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
Anyway, if you're looking for something a little bit different, it's not different in a standpoint like nothing you've ever seen before, but it's different than all the big remakes and sequels and blockbuster kind of stuff. It's a smaller movie but feels big.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Does that sound right?
Yes, I really liked it, and I think you should go watch it right now.
Not
after
now.
The show.
Yeah, after the show, because the show is happening right now, so don't go watch it right now.
Okay, so that was the movie Anna. Did you post a review for that, kind sir?
I did.
Well, let's go share that with our audience.
I'm supposed to for everything.
I'm going to do that right now.
Everything we're talking about today is a review is up.
Very good. Even the other movie. Oh, it sure is. I see it right there.
Yes.
You are on the ball, kid.
I'm on the points.
You are on the points.
So, moving on. What are we going to talk about next, sister?
Next, I'd like to talk about this movie we went back and watched last night.
The old movie?
I had never seen this film.
All right. So, Shout Factory.
Shout.
They have a lot of offshoot brands within their company.
Yeah.
They have a Scream Factory, which is all their horror films and whatnot. Then they have, I think, Shout Kids, but then they also have a thing called Shout Select, which re-releases a lot of comedies and dramas and things like that. Some of them are cult hits, some of them are just classic movies. So this newest one, Shout Select, is a movie called Fatso from 1980. And it was actually the only film that was directed by Anne Bancroft. She wrote and directed it.
Yep.
It was also the first film that was produced by Brooks Films, which was Mel Brooks' production company that they had started. This was the first one they actually produced. And ironically, Mel Brooks was married to Anne Bancroft, so that's probably why. I'm not saying he played favorites, but anyway, the late great Dom DeLuise, and of course Anne Bancroft has passed on too. I remember watching this movie a few times when I was a kid.
Really?
So I thought. I'd always, this is another one of those movies that I'd mentioned and nobody knew what I was talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because it was so far back or it was just, it's not I don't think it was a big hit. Matter of fact, I don't think it did that great. And it's billed as a comedy.
Yeah, it's dark though.
I mean, there's some funny stuff in it, but to me, this is, and even more so now, is a drama.
It is.
And this is Dom DeLuise getting to stretch his dramatic chops, so if you will. He is amazing in this movie.
He's really good.
Basically, the idea is a guy who has an unhealthy addiction to food, and just trying to get through life and to deal with his family and loss of family members due to weight and whatnot. And that's kind of the setup. So you had never heard of this at all.
I'd never heard of it.
And when we sat and watched it, I realized I don't think I'd ever seen it from beginning to end.
Oh, wow. Okay, great.
Because there's a whole sequence, where there's the chains on the refrigerator. So I remember all that stuff. I don't remember half of it from the beginning or the end.
Oh, wow.
I thought there was a completely different ending to this movie.
Oh.
So clearly I'm either remembering part of another movie that was similar, or I made that up thinking I saw it. Because
thinking
now
it was this movie?
Yeah, because the ending I thought was way darker.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I'll have to tell you what I think because I don't want to spoil it for everybody that hasn't seen it. So anyway, the movie is Fatso. I'm going to use your things here. You can't see it on this camera anyway, but so what did you think of it?
I really liked the movie. I think it's interesting that this was 1980. So if you look at where we are now dealing with, eating disorders or whatever, I feel like maybe in this, for sure in 60s or 70s, we knew people had eating problems if you were anorexic or a binger or whatever. That he was a binger and he was totally obsessed with food. Like he could not get through the day.
Yeah, because there's moments where he's like super sad, and as soon as he takes a bite of something, he's just over it. He's back to being happy again, or not even happy. He's just back to being himself. He even says in the movie, he goes, "I'm myself when I eat."
Yeah, and so it's interesting now. I mean, we would totally call that a disorder. Obsession.
What's crazy is this movie, despite it being, and it doesn't have an ending that you expect.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of has a happy ending of sorts. Because depending on your perception of the ending, because I read some stuff of people talking about, and I believe it was back when this was released, some of the critiques it got was, well, the ending is just promoting obesity and promoting like health lifestyles, and that it's okay to be fat. Well, and then other people are talking about, well, this is, in reality, this movie is dealing with addiction. It's dealing with loss. It's dealing with sadness and depression.
Yeah, very
it's also dealing with self-love, like loving who you are, and
I think that's the struggle he goes through the whole movie, because he's like, oh my God, he realizes it's happening, but he never has anyone to support him and say, just be yourself, or it's okay, or we understand. Everybody's like, go to the diet doctor.
Or yell at him, or he immediately runs to food because he knows nobody wants him to do it, but that's what he wants. Or he tries to force him. Like there's a running gag about bread that is kind of funny.
Yeah.
But it's because he's trying to tell somebody else how they're supposed to eat. Because you're not eating it right. You're supposed to have bread. No, that's not how you eat toast. You're supposed to put butter on it.
You got to put butter.
And the other guy's like, I don't want bread. You like bread. I don't want the bread. And throwing the bread, they fight about it.
And then he can't understand how the guy doesn't want bread. He's like,
or doesn't understand, like, even like there's a scene where he's trying to eat healthy, and he's serving his I think it's his brother. He's trying to serve. He serves him lasagna with butter in there.
Homemade lasagna.
But like he puts the food on there.
He puts the sauce.
Yeah, extra sauce. He preps it before he gets there. Yeah, because
love, because he loves food.
Yeah.
And then he's sitting there crunching his kale, so sad.
It's so depressing.
And the other thing that's interesting is they send him to the diet doctor, and basically, I think we know now, or at least I know now. One of my favorite shows is
600 Pound Life.
Love 600 Pound Life. And you find out
she is obsessed with this dang show.
That your love of food is great, but when it becomes an obsession, there's actually something behind it. And for him, he had some emotional issues.
He had lost his brother. The movie opens with his brother dies.
Well, and he doesn't have a mom or a dad anymore. And that's what he remembers about family was the food.
What was so awesome is the opening montage. So the film is from being a baby all the way to adulthood. And every situation, somebody's feeding him.
Like, if he's crying, you'll be okay.
If he cries, they give him a cannoli. If they cry, they give him a hamburger or whatever it is. And that's how they resolved every situation, which sadly is how a lot of obese families are. Is they get sad, they eat. If they want to bond together, they eat. If they want to, what do you want to go do? Let's go eat.
Let's go eat.
We all love to eat.
I'm all about that.
I know, and I know this is, you have an unhealthy obsession with food.
I do. I love food. I never did until we got married, and you showed me.
She blamed me. She blames me.
No, I don't blame you.
When I married her, she was like 20 pounds, and now she's 800.
I think because we got married, and I was so happy, and I was able to kind of eat whatever I wanted to. Like, remember, there was times where it's like, do you want to go get ice cream? I'm like, it's 11 o'clock at night. And you're like, it's okay. You're an adult. I'm like, I never thought of that. So it's interesting, though, how they would have treated the eating here and how we would deal with it now. We would know he needs therapy. And it's okay if you eat, but you need to learn to love yourself and then just eat in moderation.
Well, the other thing with this movie, too, on the performance side, I thought Dom DeLuise was amazing. And Anne Bancroft was really good. But
she was good, too.
Both of them had to be exhausting performances because he's literally crying 90% of the movie. And she's yelling 90% of the movie. Every time you see her, she's mad and yelling. Every time you see him, he's crying and upset. And I'm like, I was getting tired watching. I'm like, how many times does this guy have to cry?
I know.
You know, and crying like one of the worst scenes. Like there's many times of blubbering cry. But to me, the saddest one is when he's at the doctor's office and they're saying all the things you can't have.
Oh, it's on the cover.
Yeah, that so sequence where it says, do not eat. This is the scene that's like a single tear rolling on his face because his whole life is being taken from him. And that shouldn't mean that much, but it does.
It would depress me, too. A lot of the stuff on here would depress me. Like bread, candy, cannoli, cheesecake. I don't care about chocolate cupcakes. Oh, donuts. Oh, I like dumplings. Fettuccine. We're going to have that for dinner.
And he's Italian, so they're like no pasta, no breads.
Yeah, noodles, oatmeal, olives. No pizza. And he was all about his pizza and potatoes and pretzels. Ravioli.
No oatmeal.
Anyway. I would be sad too. Not that sad, but I'd be sad.
So this is not only is it better than I remembered, it was a nice fresh surprise.
It was really good.
Because for years, I guess essentially since 1980, I had a different vision of this movie in my head, and it was one that I thought was one thing, and it was not. It was a different thing. I remember it being really, really funny, but really sad. And then when I watch it now as an adult, maybe it's because I'm fat, I was really, really sad. When I was a kid, I'm like, look at the fat guy. Ha, ha, ha. Now I get struggling with weight and going up and down and wanting something and you can't have it because you want to be in better shape and you want to get bigger or you want to stronger or whatever. And the work it takes. And it's like, I don't know. Anyway, but this is going to be out this week from Shout Select, from Shout Factory.
Shout.
So if you haven't seen Fat, so you should check it out. It's a great little movie and it's still very, very relevant today.
Yep, it was very good. I liked it.
And anything Mel Brooks is involved in should be seen anyway.
Yep.
Even though all he did was produce it.
Yeah, it was good.
Anyway,
check it out.
It does have a new like looking back special thing with Stuart. Was it Cornfield? Sure is. Stuart Cornfield and Mel Brooks talking about them making this movie.
Yeah, that was interesting.
And then it's got a new interview with the film historian that had something to do with it. So.
Cool. Check it out.
All right. So, do you want me to talk about the other one I saw that you haven't? Well, I've seen two other ones. I have a video one, and I have a theatrical one, and then we have the other theatrical ones all together.
Okay. Tell me about your video.
Talk about this one because this is a little bit different scenario this time. It's a movie called Heroes Shed No Tears. It was a movie from 1986. Okay. This is John Woo's first foray into gun action. He had done kung fu karate movies and stuff. Okay. Most people if you don't know who John Woo is, first of all, shame on you.
Where have you been?
Shame. But he did Hard Boiled. He did Better Tomorrow, the Chow Yun Fat movies. He's the one that basically made Chow Yun Fat a superstar.
Yes.
He came to America. He did Broken Arrow. He did Face Off. He did my very favorite Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, Hard Target.
What? That's your favorite?
It is my favorite Van Damme movie.
Mine's the one with the twins. So double impact.
Which one? Because he did Twins twice.
Double Impact's the one where he's the
yoga instructor.
Yes,
he's a karate instructor. But
I like
awesome.
That one, and I like the one where he's Cajun.
That's Hard Target.
Oh, is that the one you were saying?
Yes.
Oh, that's with the mullet?
He goes, yes, his name is Chance. And it's the best line in any movie ever.
Why's your name Chance?
Yes, my mama took one. All right, so anyway, that was
the horrible accent.
Hard Target. Hold on. Hard Target was John Woo's first American film.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
He also did Mission Impossible 2. So anyway.
Wasn't that Replacement Killers? Was that him?
No. Oh, that was Chow Yun Fat's first American movie.
Oh, okay.
So anyway.
I'm thinking I'm seeing Chow Yun Fat.
You're not seeing Chow. That's Eddie Ko.
Okay.
So anyway.
This.
That's this guy.
Oh, he's awesome.
So anyway, Heroes Shed No Tears has never been released in North America on Blu-ray. And it is a movie that I do not believe John Woo likes because the studios got involved into it, cut it up.
That's too bad. They changed the people's vision.
Well, they did that and they added like a couple of sex scenes. It makes no sense.
Were they trying to make Americanize it?
No. This was an Asian film at the time. Yeah. It was just one of those things.
That's
Is
weird.
they wanted something different, and he was trying to do something. And it was a big problem. But what's interesting about this movie is, I think it's a lot of it shot in Thailand and somewhere else. But it's a very simplistic premise. It makes little to no sense when you watch it. It's got great action. It's tons of shooting and killing, and dismemberment and bizarre situations. Like there's a scene where one of the generals captures this. It's like this. The premise. Let me back up. The premise is this little mercenary team is hired to go in and kidnap this general guy who's part of a drug cartel thing and bring him back. That's the basic premise.
Okay.
So essentially, you have an hour and a half action scene. Like, that's how little stories here.
Love it.
It starts off with they're on the mission, then they get out of there, and then they're being chased, and then somehow they end up at the guy's house, and his wife and kid is there, and then they're with them on the run. It confused me a lot of places. Then there's a random sex scene that makes no sense, and random people gambling, and it just
sex sales, buddy. That's
but you could tell there was a lot of things that were thrown in because they don't feel like the same movie is the problem. So you could feel like the John Woo stuff, and then you could feel like something else.
Oh, that they added.
You're not going to find it under Shed No Tears. That's it right there. That's its actual name.
Is it not this one? No.
No. I just told you which one it was,
Thank you.
didn't I? Didn't I?
My bad.
Anyway, but the action is excellent, and you can see the one.
John Woo.
I know. Well, what I love about this movie, despite its problems, is I love seeing actors or directors at the beginning of their career of what they're now famous for. Like everybody knows if John Woo made the movie, somebody's going to be with two-handed guns shooting. Mm-hmm. You're going to see the dove scene. The doves are not in here. That didn't happen yet. But you'll see the dove sequence. You're going to see heavy gun action, jumping and flip fighting, and it's hardcore. It's always gritty. This starts showing him building that idea.
Oh, that's so cool.
And it's very violent. It's very bloody. Like I said, there's dismemberments. There's a scene where a guy gets captured and the other guy wants revenge because he shot him in the eye. So he's like, I'm confused though.
What happened with his eye?
Well, the one guy was trying to shoot somebody with a rifle. And then it's a cool shot.
Why was he shooting like this, babe?
Well, because I was holding this stupid. The guy was holding the rifle like this, and somebody ran away. He told him they could go, and then was going to shoot him in the back. And the lady's running, and all of a sudden she falls, right? And there's another guy standing in front of her with a pistol and shoots through the scope into the guy's eye.
That is awesome.
You think that guy's dead, and he's not. So he comes back after him.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
But what I didn't understand is they captured the guy that shot the other guy later, and they're sewing his face, right? And I thought they were showing his mouth shut or showing his eyes shut. But then when we finally see it, it's like it was sewn here, sewn here, sewn here, and sewn here. I don't know what he sewed other than unless it was just torture. Mm-hmm. But so the little boy, the guy's son, this is where it gets a little disturbing at times. The guy's son is trying to help him after they get away. So the boy's biting the stitches and then trying to pull the stitches out.
Oh, that's
so gross. Then it's another weirdness, but it's a lot of that kind of stuff. Very violent. And it's weird and it's bizarre, but
it seems a little bizarre.
But at the same time, it's really, really good on the action side. It's one of those, like I said, if you're a John Woo fan or things like this, it's one of those you have to have. What's really cool about this too is there's a booklet that it came with.
Ooh,
it's essentially like a paper. It's like there it is, right there. See?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
So it's an essay by Grady Hendrix, who I believe is part of Film Movement, which is who's releasing this. It's all about the making of this movie.
Oh,
and I read it the other night. It's really cool. But one of the things really cool about this, which I'd heard about it, and I confirmed it with this, that in Thailand when they shot all the films, like they were running out of time for like the bullet squibs and all that stuff to set them up. So they basically said when we're shooting live rounds at the actors in the ground while they're doing their scenes. So if you watch the movie and you see the bullet hits,
is that illegal?
Not in Thailand, apparently.
Oh my God, they were shooting real guns at them?
And it's in the little essay thing he talks about. That said, the bullet squibs that you see hitting the buildings out on the ground, they're actual bullets being shot from like sniper types from the other side, and they were only going to do that. Okay. They were only going to do it in one scene, and John Woo liked the way it worked so well. They did it through the rest of the movie. And Eddie Ko, I read that he said that
I'm not gonna
He
be
actually has a scar from a piece of shrapnel that ricocheted.
So don't do a movie in Thailand.
I don't think they do that anymore, but this is 1986.
Oh my god.
And for those that don't know who Eddie Ko is, you might recognize him from Lethal Weapon 4. He was one of the little immigrant people that Danny Glover finds on the ship and that hides in his house.
Okay.
He's the old man dad that they bond over the beverage.
Oh.
That's him now. That's him. That's the old man.
I was looking at the picture up here. That guy.
That guy. Yep, that's him from
Wow, look
Lethal
at
Weapon
him.
4.
He's got all gray hair. Oh, what a cute little man.
So, anyway, this will come out this week as well. Heroes Shed No Tears. It's got a new interview with Eddie Ko.
Well, look, he was in this one too. He's
been in a lot of stuff.
He's been consistently
good.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh, he's
still
very
working.
busy. Good for him.
But it's also got this essay inside, but that's also got a new interview with Eddie Ko to talk about the movie.
That's so cool.
But like I said, it's a strange, bizarre movie, but it's must-have viewing if you're an action fan.
Sounds cool.
Because it's part of history.
I just want to see where they're shooting bullets, people.
In my opinion, this is a part of action history if it's John Woo's first action gun movie. So anyway, Heroes Shed No Tears. It's been put out by Film Movement. Find it at your local, I don't know, online.
I know. There's no more video stores. It's so sad.
Well, there's family videos about the only ones still around.
It makes me really sad because that was part of the fun on like a Friday night. You know, you go
getting
out to
mad
eat.
because you go there and nothing you want is there.
Well, because you go out to eat and it was the cheaper way to, instead of going to a movie, you could just go rent a video. That was the old school Netflix and chill.
Well, my whole thing, I was against Netflix when it started. You know, because originally Netflix was like that mail service. Remember?
Yes,
didn't have
I
the
remember.
TV, it was like you had to put a queue up and then they would mail you stuff. Yeah, and I was like, everybody's like, oh, this is great. You just set up and it mails you. I'm like, but I want to watch that.
Yeah.
I want to go to the store and watch it. I was like, I can't tell you, my love of films, a lot of it came from going to the video store. Like, how many times I just walked the video store and I saw a box cover and I'm like, what the hell is that?
That's how I got into this whole, like, the agent, like, Raise the Red Lantern and whatever, like, the whole series of that guy's movies because I saw it at Blockbuster.
Well, and
otherwise, I never would have seen it.
When I worked at this place called Photoland in high school, it was a video store, and I literally would rent everything that came out and was obsessed. Are you now looking up that movie?
Yeah, because there's a series. But that's how else was I going to know anything about Asian cinema? And I love Asian cinema. I love their
See,
movies.
my big issue, and I still have a major issue with Hulu and Netflix and all this stuff that we talked about this because we moved and we went completely digital. I was like, I don't want to have to search through that to watch something.
Mm-hmm.
I want to, if I want to watch something, I want to be able to just go watch it. And I had somebody say, well, that's the same thing. But the video store is different. I'm walking through a sea of...
You love the box.
I do. I love picking it up and reading it. Like the videos collection you see behind of us right here, back here. Yeah. That's only half of it. It goes the other way over here too.
There's a whole other
but I had not as many, but I had a similar one, a VHS collection too.
Mm-hmm.
So when everything started shifting to DVDs at the time, I never got into the laser discs. I skipped that one, thankfully. But I shifted all that stuff and started. But see, there's so many things that I don't have that I had on VHS now.
Yeah.
I have so much more stuff, but I still don't have half the stuff I had on VHS. But what's awesome is Shout Factory is changing that because they're re-releasing so many of those things that I had. So I get excited when I get them.
I still have a stack of VHS tapes in my office, and I'm waiting in case, like random things like the stupid the movie with Tim Allen. Tim Allen and what's her name?
Oh God, you're gonna pick something dumb.
I know.
Everything you pick is dumb.
I don't care.
Like I just picked up a copy of Poetic Justice at Best Buy, which is a movie I'm sure not a lot of people care anything about. It's a John Singleton movie with Janet Jackson and Tupac.
Yeah, but they never had it before on.
But they had movies buy one get one free.
Wow.
That was my get one free, and I used to have that that DVD. One of those things,
VHS.
The VHS, and I realized, hey, I don't have that one anymore.
We gotta build up the collection.
So anyway,
sorry.
All right, so moving on. So now I have the one other one I saw by myself, and we have the other one we saw together. Or we didn't see it together.
I think we need to do both of them together. So.
You want to do the other one together?
Yeah, let's do this one together.
Because that one, we both saw that one you didn't see.
Yeah, so let's start with this, and then we'll get to the other one. So we're talking about this little movie. You may not even heard about it because it's such a small little thing. It is called Toy Story 4. Why are you covering my face? Toy Story 4. To infinity and beyond.
You've never seen me this happy now that she's collecting them. Anyway, so we have Toy Story 4. Hey, when did you get here? All right. No space.
That's why I want us to have the green screen of each movie poster. Oh my gosh, don't do this one.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna do the rest of the show like this.
We're gonna talk about this little movie called Toy Story 4.
All right.
Okay, don't be that person. You have to see Toy Story 1, 2, and 3.
Yes, it is a continuation, and there is an ongoing story.
Because we know people like that, you guys. That's why
people have done their work on these movies, man. Support them.
And it is so clever because it all ties together.
So before we talk about the new one, what is your like? I know I revisited them, and I've always loved these movies, and I know you got to revisit them. So what was your thought process or thought in general of the original 3?
I'm glad we watched them all before we saw this one because it does get you kind of in the mood of what it is. I really enjoyed the movies, and it's interesting when you start with 1 and 2 and 3, you can see how the animation has gotten better each time.
Yeah, because when I went back to watch
one was so skidgy looking.
I hadn't watched one in quite a while, and I went back and watched it. As much as I still loved it, like the animation is not that good now.
Basic, but
it's good for when it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Wasn't that the first Pixar thing? Or?
Yeah, I believe so. But it, now it looks like every movie that goes straight to video is that quality.
And then 2, I was like, wow, 2. And then I got to 3, I was like, whoa.
3's a whole nother world in comparison to the first 2.
And which is your favorite? 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Oh, for throwing 4 in?
Yeah, throw 4 in. Let me see.
Well, before this, 3 was my favorite.
Me too. I love 3.
I think 3 and 4 are probably on the same level for me.
Really?
Because, but they're also two things separate because 3 still is kind of an ensemble, if you will, where it's still Buzz and Woody. Where I felt 4 was really more of a Woody film. Yeah. The rest of them are obviously there, but this movie was about Woody.
And I feel like once you get into Toy Story 4, you'll see it's interesting to me. I feel like
cry.
Yeah, I am. These movies make me cry. I feel like it's about Woody growing up now.
Yeah, because here's the thing: is none of these sequels have ever been necessary. Like you could have done the first Toy Story, been done with it. It would have never needed a sequel. We got the sequel, and then again, you didn't need another one. The third one had a pretty perfect ending to their history of toys.
I cried so
going
much.
Going to the little girl and being done with it. We're like, okay, but at the same time, that their journey's not over. Right. They're just in a new journey. And so I know some people that were on the fence about they hated that they were making this new movie or they were against it because why? It did so perfectly. And I was with that on some level, but at the same time I'm like, but I really love these characters. I'll watch 35 Toy Story movies if you keep giving me a good story in the same cast. Mm-hmm. So when they announced 4, I was fine with it. But I was more concerned, that was it going to be a story that worked for what came before? Yeah. Or was it going to just be, okay, now we're just having random adventures with these guys like the TV specials? Yeah. Because, the Toy Story that Tom forgot and the whatever party, they're fun.
Yeah, I like that bathtub party. Yeah, it's so funny.
They're fun, but they don't serve any purpose to the bigger story like the movies do.
Right.
So going into the 4th one, I got to see it a couple of weeks before you did. Yeah. And so I was both excited and concerned of what was fixing to happen. Right. So what did you think of the 4th one?
I enjoyed the 4th one. I really did. It's no lots of hugging.
No, lots of hugging bear is still my favorite character in the entire franchise. To the point that we went out of our way on a mission when we were at Disney so I could get my picture with lots of hugging bear.
You turned into like a 5-year-old. He's like, lots of huggins on the schedule. It's at whatever time he's going to be in this building. We're adults. And I think, is that when the kids were with us?
No.
It was just me and you.
Yeah, I think it was just me and you.
2 adults, okay, going through to find the Toy Story animation thing. And we see the people dressed up and he's like, what time is lots of hugging going to be? He gets in line with all of these kids. And I feel like we get up there and they're probably looking around like he wants a picture. And he gets up there and he's hugging this giant guy dressed in the lots of hugging. And he did smell like strawberries.
He did.
And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Did I look happy?
You did, because you saw him walking out. You're like, let's hug him. Let's go over there.
And here's the thing. I don't know why I connected that character in the movie.
Because he's a grumpy old guy.
But I think he's also very misunderstood.
He is.
And I still, to this day, I think he was a misunderstood character and got a raw into the deal. But I don't get excited about crap like that.
You don't.
And I don't know why lots of hugging did it.
The ones I like the little aliens.
Oh,
With the claw, and he's like, I have been chosen. Anyway, sorry.
I was really hoping we'd get some kind of a lots of hugging cameo, but I know that wasn't really possible.
No, it wasn't possible. I liked 4, and I think we're going to have a little discrepancy over one character.
Which is one I understand, though.
Yeah, it wasn't horrible. I just thought he was a little bit annoying.
Oh, I
get it, though.
Insanely hilarious.
Okay, and who are we talking about?
We're talking about Forky. And here's the thing, is I totally get him being annoying to somebody.
Yeah.
So it's not an argument that I have, like, I think you're wrong. I get the annoyance of him, but I'm telling you, like, I was rolling. My daughter was watching with me. She was rolling. The audience that was with us were all rolling. Every time he was like, trash, trash. It was a running gag that was just hilarious.
So annoying. I giggled at first, and then it kept going, and it kept going.
That's what I thought was so funny about it, is because he was so just dumb and crazed and obsessed, because that's what he was. He literally was trash.
I know, but that was the whole point, is she loved him. And
I know.
Love brings you back.
I know.
Love will bring you back.
And then it had an
time.
ending to it, too, that I thought was funny, because when they, without saying what happens then, but there's another part of that joke that evolves at the end, and it was just as funny at the end. But like I said, I can see it being annoying to somebody.
It was just a tiny
you don't find anything funny anymore.
But I'm also grumpy. Yeah, I am a little grumpy.
I just realized that I married lots of hugging bear.
That's why you love me.
But you don't smell like strawberries. You smell like enchiladas.
Yes, even better. No, I love Forky, and I loved the arc of Forky, and it was actually, he was annoying to me, but it's interesting that, if you take it on a deeper level, that's what it means to be loved. You know, that love can change your entire existence. Love can change your life.
Well, because it's the mentality of, like, we talk about how kids today have to have electronics, have to have stuff, and you talk about, like, when we were kids, oh, you'd be happy with this, and then you go further back, well, they were just happy with a stick. Mm-hmm. Or we'd have a cardboard box, like you give a kid and they play the box instead of the toy.
Oh, they love it.
It's that mentality. It's your perception of what you see in front of you and how fun that item can be, that the people that don't have that imagination don't understand.
Imagination.
And
I agree.
It was a great. That's one of the things that I thought has been always amazing about this stories of this series is it's always been about evolution. Like the first one is about him getting a new toy and Woody not being the center of attention that he thought he was anymore, but he still is.
Yeah.
But he's so, what's the word I'm looking for? Insecure that he thinks he's being replaced.
Right.
So he did everything he could to try to get rid of Buzz till he realized, what am I doing?
We cannot be friends.
We can be friends together, and they became bonding, and then you get the second one, and then it's evolving about Andy fixing to go do this, and then the next one's about that Andy's leaving, and they're going to be going put in the attic, and now it's her growing up and changes in that part of the life, and it kind of makes you wonder as the toys, like, I started thinking about all my toys. I'm like, oh my God, I got so many toys that I put in the attic. I wonder how they feel.
They're probably upset with you, man.
I know. No wonder I can't find certain things anymore. They leave.
Well, and I think it's just the story of
maybe that's why we never remember where most of our toys disappear to. Like, we have certain stuff that we remember giving it to somebody, or your mom selling it, or you still have it, or it broke. But then there's stuff you remember you had, but you have no idea where it went.
They left you.
They left.
They left us. They went on a road trip. I was also going to say that I think it's not just, it's about the toys and their feelings, but I feel like it's more than that. It's always been more than that. It's about how we change and evolve as people, but I think also that I can be friends with one person, but I can still be friends with this other person too, and we can all be friends.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what it's about. And then we get to Toy Story 4, and it really is about Woody growing up from being just a toy. Well, and crazy because he's really, a toy.
But it's really more about that he could be more. He doesn't have to be responsible for everybody else all of the time.
Yeah.
Like there's a line at the end of the movie that might be one of the best lines to me in the series. And I'm not gonna say it here, but it's Buzz's line to Woody at the end. Or not the very end, but that tells him how to make his choice, saying that they're gonna be okay. Yeah. And he's like, oh, I know. And, the thought process, I know it's going to be okay because we saved them. And they're like, no. It's just they're going to be okay. You don't need to do anything. And than him realizing, holy crap, I don't, you know, and then evolving. But I also like that this one takes a single throwaway line from part 3 of missing character and takes an entire story about that character.
Yeah.
Like we get to go back. It flashes back to tell where Bo Peep disappeared to, which she's in the trailer, which we all know.
That is not a spoiler.
That is not a spoiler. But in the third movie, she's not there. And they say in the movie, like a single line, well, you know what happened? You remember what happened to Bo Peep? And so they're all like, oh. So you know something happened there. So it was like a story left unanswered that we didn't know we needed.
Yeah. So you didn't know.
So this essentially is now closing a gap of a story left open in the last film, but also moving forward and evolving them, all these characters yet again.
Yep.
And now it's in a position to where, should they want to make more still, they could make this story of this group over here doing this adventure, and you can still have this group that are still over here doing this thing.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of stories that can be told, which I'm not gonna lie, I'd love to see them.
Yeah.
You know, I know Tom Hanks recently said in one of his many interviews that he's like, I could easily see them doing a Toy Story 5.
Yeah.
You know, and it was #1 this weekend, made $100 and something million. So
it's doing okay.
It's not. I think it had a. I don't remember if they said it was like a franchise highest opening or something of the series, but I could be wrong.
That's a big deal.
I might be wrong, but so anyway, I love Toy Story 4. I thought it worked on all levels. There wasn't anything that annoyed me. I love there's a whole sub story of Buzz and listening to his inner voice. That was really funny.
That was funny. That was cute.
And I liked all the new characters too outside of Forky. I liked the Bunny and the Ducky and Bunny, which were Key and Peele. And,
which is funny.
Yeah.
That's the best group.
This was a little darker than the other ones too. Even though the last one had some dark moments, this one had some, like, you got mad because of some characters I didn't tell you about.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm glad you didn't, because I probably wouldn't have watched it. I would have been all upset, but no.
Yeah, this one has a little.
It's a little bit dark, and I wasn't the only one feeling that in my theater. They were feeling it. People were like, "Oh." They were, "Oh no."
That's what I mentioned. Yeah, I know it was lower than its prediction, but still, I mean, a prediction is still doesn't really matter if it's still making money. It's going to make a lot of money anyway.
It'll be okay. Anyways, I enjoyed Toy Story 4. Obviously, if you're into the Toy Story series, you're going to want to go see it.
Well, and the other thing that, outside of the posters, when we went to that RV tour thing, what did you get?
Oh, I got some cool stuff.
We didn't show them on when we were talking about the RV thing.
No, I got
we got the mini posters. And what is it?
These are some stickers.
Huh.
It's character stickers. I don't know what else is in here. Let's see.
I think it's just more stickers.
And then we got some buttons.
Some buttons.
I'm going to open these. I'm going to use them.
Buttons.
I love stickers. I'm going to stick stickers all over.
Oh, God.
Oh, they're that puffy stickers. Ooh,
really?
They're the thick puffy kind.
Oh, no.
I love puffy stickers.
Oh, we have 2 packages of these buttons.
We do.
Should we give some of these?
Yes,
somebody?
would someone like a set of stickers and buttons?
You don't want your stickers?
I have a whole other set.
Do we? I thought we had only one set of these.
I don't know.
We have 2 sets of these.
I feel like I have another one.
Okay, well, we definitely have 2 sets of these.
If somebody would like some buttons,
so we'll figure out something.
We have to do some sort of a contest that will entertain us. Okay. Anyways, check out Toy Story 4. I think you do need some tissues, as always, so be prepared.
See, and I honestly didn't find it as emotional as I thought it was going to be.
I did at the end, just because I was like, oh. I mean, I think 3 is the most emotional to me.
Yeah,
I blubbered again in my office watching it when he's like, I need you to promise to take care of my children. I'm like, don't leave, Andy. I don't care how old you are. Come back. Oh, and it's interesting. I was talking to another lady at work, another whole other lady I was talking to.
A whole other one?
Well, she's not at work, but something related to work during work things. And it's so interesting. She was so excited to go see it because she took her son when he was little, not little, but like 9 or 10. The very first one.
Right. And now he's an adult.
Now she's taking her grandson.
Oh,
who's like cool. A little kid to go see the new one. And she's like, this is such a nostalgia moment. I'm like, right? Because we've seen all of them. I mean, it's amazing. So take your kids.
I had a similar nostalgia moment with Shazam, and then my son was like, yeah, that was pretty cool.
That's about as as excited as he gets. Sorry. He's always just.
Although he did give me the coolest birthday gift.
Yes, he did. That
my
was
son,
so nice.
Before we talk about that, I'm going to tell that publicly. So my birthday was this past week. And we didn't do any big celebration this year because I don't care.
We went to dinner.
We had dinner with some friends. That was it. And she got me a poster and a CD off my thing because I didn't really tell her.
Off his Amazon wish list. That was easy.
Yeah, which was stuff that I just threw in there to buy at some point. So I was like, whatever. But I'm also not. It's not because she's. Yeah, I don't care about it. So, but my son shows up over the house because he didn't get to come over on Father's Day. And he goes, I'm bringing you something for Father's Day. So he got me a shirt, Star Wars shirt, Star Wars Chewbacca. It's like Chewbacca socks and some cherry sours. But then he bought me the Star Wars Jedi Challenges virtual reality game.
Which is awesome.
Which, well, it may sound like, oh, that's kind of silly, but it's like, I think this is the first time my son's bought me like a big gift like that. He's bought me gifts over the years. But this is like $100 and something gift. Which now I expect every gift to be this awesome. So I'm gonna make a list of every gift in the same price range from now on. But no, he didn't have to, and he just knows that I like that stuff, and I've been eyeballing that thing forever. And I don't even know if he knew I've been eyeballing it.
I don't think he did. I
think he just saw it. I think he took a picture of it, showed it to me one time. I was like, yeah. And so anyway, so I've been playing.
It's pretty cool, man. I was in there. But I'm crazy, I think, when I'm fighting things.
She is pretty funny. What sucked is I was going to video you doing it, and I forgot you had my phone in your thing, so I couldn't even do it.
I was like, oh no.
Your lightsaber it up.
Yeah, it was awesome. It's pretty cool.
So anyway, so our last film, sadly you didn't get to see it. One more
film.
You didn't get to see it.
Is it really sadly that I didn't
It is, because I think this would have been an interesting commentary to discuss. But you're lame. So if you didn't notice, I'm obviously a fan.
I see that. And we got
Child's Play. So I got my Chucky shirt. I apologize to one of our viewers who I promised I was going to wear a different shirt that they had gotten me this week, but then I realized it was Child's Play, so I had to rock.
Yes, you had to wear the Chucky shirt.
The shirt doesn't even really fit me anymore, so it's like Curly from the Three Stooges having to wear this thing.
No, it's fine, babe.
No, it's not.
It's fine.
If I stand up, it pops up because it's too small. Anyway, and then of course we got Chucky and Tiffany here behind us. I don't just FYI, I don't just collect weird Chucky memorabilia either. It's part of our Halloween decor.
Yeah.
But we posted a picture, hopefully you got to see it, of this one doing their hair beforehand. That's why Chucky looks a little coiffed. I don't know why her hair thing's falling off.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well,
she does not look like this. Doesn't look like they're getting married. This looks like it was after the honeymoon.
You know what? It needs some hot glue. So
anyway,
let it happen.
So I got to see the new Child's Play, and I'm a huge fan of all 7 of the other Child's Play movies. They do get, the first 2 or 3 were the darker, kind of creepy. This whole franchise went the same route as Nightmare on Elm Street, where the first few were kind of trying to be serious and creepy, and then they didn't so much go down, but they went campy and cheese and one-liners. And I love all the stuff with Tiffany and the ridiculous nature of it. And then Curse of Chucky and Cult of Chucky tried to take it back to the little bit darker tones. But like with Cult of Chucky just goes way left field because it brings in like 5 or 6 Chuckies because they basically possessed them all. And so they created this little cult of Chuckies. And so like one's hair's all jacked up, one's like they all have different personalities. It's great. Anyway, so when they announced they were making this new one, I was excited, and then I realized they were doing kind of a remake, reimagining, because there's a whole studio thing that owns the first Child's Play. Because they're still, for those that are fans of Child's Play, got mad about the remake, they're still doing the Child's Play TV series. That Brad Dourif, who normally voices Chucky, is doing that. That's part of the continuity of this. Okay. So that universe still exists.
I see.
Don Mancini, who does those movies, is still developing those. This new one was owned by the other studio, so they were able to do whatever they want. It has nothing to do with this series. It's a reimagining. Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker himself, took on as the voice of Chucky.
Yeah, but we had a comment that was awesome.
Yeah, and I was concerned if it was going to be just rehashing the Joker voice, if it was going to be too much. He's disturbing.
Yeah.
Like this Chucky is creepy.
Well, that might be cool then.
And he's creepy because the face design is completely different, so it doesn't even look like.
Let me go.
He looks more like a little person.
Ew,
which makes him in turn weird looking. And the first time you see him, he's like, he looks like a Munchkin from Munchkin Land, and
cool.
He's kind of disturbing, and he's like, that doesn't do him justice. You have to see like a normal picture of him. Like that with the shadows makes him still look sort of normal. You need to look up a different photo. But anyway, I was interested to see, because the new direction, you can kind of see it there if you go back. the new direction of the film is we've gotten rid of the supernatural element, where it's not the serial killer putting his soul in there. It's now AI.
Oh, that's even creepier, because you know how I am about Skynet.
Yeah, so in this one, it's basically like a hacked doll. It's not really a spoiler, but it's just a hack. There you go. That's a good picture.
That looks
It's a hacked doll that's self-aware, and they got rid of all of its safety protocols of languages and things. And so and what it does is it imprints on its owner. That's what it's designed to do, to print and then be your best friend, you know.
I don't like this already.
And so you can imagine the creepiness, but it's also Wi-Fi, so it can connect to anything. And so it's kind of two parts.
I'm telling y'all, Skynet is real. And
this is a very Skynet situation.
I'm so scared.
And somebody just posted that he's more of a needy child. So he is. He's like, you're my friend, and he doesn't like when somebody else tries to do it, and he does. He's creepy. He's bizarre, and
that's okay.
But it's got so much social commentary in relation to. There it is. That's a good one. See, social commentary in those eyes being so big make it even creepier, and they turn red when he goes angry. But the social commentary of not just technology and the obsession with it, but also of mistreating people. Because like all this whole movie boils down to mistreating of employees. Had the one guy not mistreated somebody else, this would have never happened. And
do you think it's a commentary on like all the shootings and things too?
No, I think it's more about the obsessive. I think it's more the obsessive compulsive of technology, because everybody's got to be in their phone. Everybody's got to be connected to something.
You have to be connected.
Yeah,
or you're not connected.
Yeah, and it has like just like even the Buddy logo, which I thought was clever. You know, it's BUDDI, but above the I instead of the dot, it's got the Wi-Fi bars. You know, on the box. Not on his clothes.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go look.
But it was just very clever.
It sure as heck is. Oh my goodness.
So it's very clever on the design and what they did, but it's very dark. The first half of it is dark, and it's maniacal kind of, and it does get into the crazy, over the top insanity stuff later.
Yeah.
Somebody gets their head eaten with the lawnmower. There's
nice.
people getting run over. There's people falling off stuff. There's slashes. There's drones. There's mass murder. There's all kinds of crazy stuff that happens. And they did a good job of getting enough into the one movie that they didn't need to do another one, but it did well. It did. I think it was number 2 or 3, and made enough money that I could see them making another one. And I hope they do. And Mark Hamill, he did such a good job that. It's the exact opposite situation of Hellraiser, where nobody has been able to do the job that Doug Bradley did with Pinhead.
Right.
Mark Hamill might be on par with Brad Dourif as Chucky, but it's different. His voice is more childlike.
Yeah.
Like Chucky and the other ones, Brad Dourif sounds like that grown man, angry. Like, come here, you mother. This was like, hi, you're my best friend.
That's where it goes back.
You know, and he's like, I love you, you know. Like, and even when he says something mean, like there's a sequence where he's trying to make him make a mad face just for being funny. And so the doll's like, you know, and then there's funny stuff, they're making him do stuff, and they're like, this one's for Tupac, and they're having to stab stuff. And so like when he actually kills somebody, he goes, and this one's for Tupac, you know, and it's just funny because it's got the little jokes, but it's so creepy.
It is creepy.
You know,
I'm creeped out.
But it's just one of those movies that it's way better than it had any right to be, you know, because it's still a killer doll. It's still silly, but you get a lot of Chucky this time around. Like if you watch the first Child's Play, it takes a while before we get to Chucky. Yeah. This one kind of gets right to it. And I really enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it more than I sat and thought about it after than I did when I was watching some of it, because I was still on the fence.
Yeah.
But if you're a fan of Child's Play, you should check it out. It's a surprisingly good reimagining of the original and doing its own thing and creepy.
Okay.
So
there you go.
Now we're just going to sit here in uncomfortable silence.
Uncomfortable silence. Okay. Now what are we talking about?
Well, I think that would be it.
All right. Well, I'm not a huge fan of Chucky, but
you're going to watch it eventually.
I'm glad you did.
I did an entire marathon of all 7 before I went and saw the new one just for the fun.
I'm proud of you.
Just like I'm going to do with Spider-Man. I think I'm going to go ahead and watch all the Spider-Man movies.
I don't think it's necessary.
It's not necessary, but I think I'm going to watch all 5 of the others and then get into the new ones before I see Spider-Man this week.
Spider-Man.
Did I say I was going to see Spider-Man this week?
Spider-Man.
Why, yes, I did, because I'm going to.
Well,
so excited.
All right, tell me what's coming out on the videos.
It's kind of a small week. I mean, outside of what I just told you with
are.
Hero Shed No Tears and Fatso, there's a like a lot of re-releases, like the Shot Factory is putting out Green Inferno, which is the Eli Roth cannibal movie on Blu-ray.
Yes.
David Lynch's Lost Highways getting re-released. I don't think there's anything huge really coming out. Oh, there's a movie called The Aftermath that's coming out. I haven't received it yet, but it's got, I believe, Keira Knightley. It's that one about like the Nazi and the English soldiers, and she starts having the affair with one of them. And anyway, it's supposed to be on its way to our house. So
okay, that sounds good. I'll watch it.
That's coming up, and then I don't think there's a lot other than that coming out this week.
Yeah, it might be a slow one. Coming out at the theater. Let's see what's happening. I saw that.
You were not prepared, sister. I can't wait to talk about that.
Annabelle Comes Home.
We need to go watch it so you can talk
I'm
about
okay not watching any Annabelles. I don't like that's the other thing I don't like about like these. I don't like dolls. I don't like creepy dolls.
But the thing with the Annabelle movies, Annabelle's not running around doing anything.
No, but she's like,
that's one of the things that I think is clever about the Annabelle films.
Making people kill
things. They're so creepy and they do so much, but she never does a thing. She
just sits there.
She's not like Chucky running around stabbing people. She just sits there.
That's what makes it more creepy.
And I've already seen it, and I'm
sending waves.
I'm eager to talk about it.
No, not okay. I'm excited about this movie yesterday about the guy singing the Beatles songs because in a weird reality where the Beatles didn't exist. That's
he wakes up and he's the only one that remembers them. So he's
that's limited.
I guess that's it.
That's really it. I'm trying to see if there's any Netflix things coming out. I don't think so. Well, that's it. All right.
It's gonna be
one movie for me and one movie for you.
Well, we'll probably find some others to get caught up on.
I know we need to catch up on some other.
Because we still haven't seen Late Night. We haven't seen what was that other one I wanted to watch?
I have no idea.
Tell me now.
I know nothing.
Oh well.
Anyways, I think it'll be okay. We'll watch those. We'll get caught up. July is going to be very interesting.
I can't wait for Midsommar.
We've got
that weird cult one I told you about.
Yeah, we got a mix of weird things.
There's a screening for Stuber coming up that you're going to have to go to. I'm going to have to miss.
Oh, I am so excited about that.
So
that
you'll have to go because I don't have my cover class. I can't wait for Crawl. The Art of Self-Defense. I can't wait for. So.
Anyways, that's what's happening. Not very much.
Whatever. Do you have any theater experiences?
I do have a theater experience. Bobby was being destructive. He was using his karate for bad.
What? I didn't do nothing.
We're sitting in a nice, quiet theater, getting ready to watch Anna. Got our popcorns, our drinks, everything's going great.
I didn't use karate for bad.
And all of a sudden, Bobby kicks the chair.
I did not kick the chair.
And he broke the chair at the theater.
I didn't kick the chair.
You have your foot on it, so that counts as kicking.
I put my foot up, and the entire back of the chair fell off.
So then we're looking around like.
And I wasn't sure what to do.
So
and I looked at her and I said, "Did I just use my karate for evil?"
Yes, you did. And then that was also the one where the man was snoring.
That was before the movie ever started, though.
I know, but
he was taking a nap before the movie started, so he didn't do anything wrong.
It was super snory. That's all that happened at my theater experience.
Oh no, it's not. We were at the concessions, and there was an old man who was very upset because he was waiting for a hot dog.
I've been waiting for my hot dog for 15 minutes.
And he gets over the counter and he goes, "It's been 15 minutes for this hot dog." He goes, "I just want my goddamn hot dog." And then some young kid started yelling at him, and I'm like,
"No, he's like, sir, you don't need to be so rude."
Oh, is that what he said?
Yeah.
Oh, and he goes, "You need to mind your business."
Well, he did need to mind his business.
He did. I agree. The guy, if you're doing 15 minutes for a hot dog, you have the right to be grumpy.
I agree. Be grumpy. What else happened at the theater?
I'm trying to remember. I had something happen. I had something go down. Toy Story was quiet. Child's Play. The only thing that just baffles me with like watching stuff like Child's Play is the amount of old people that were there to watch Child's Play.
Really?
Yeah,
maybe they like horror movies.
Well, it's that, or I'm thinking maybe they were people that saw the original.
They like Chucky.
And I always envision that they're in the wrong theater.
What? That's what people are going to think about you when you're like 70 watching a scary movie.
I know, and I know they could be just horror fans. It's funny. It's just funny because I always think that they're sitting in the wrong theater, or they see a name of a movie. They went to the theater and they're like, Child's Play. That sounds like a lovely feature. and they're watching it not knowing it's a killer doll.
Well, it happens.
I don't know.
They thought it was Toy Story, probably.
I did hear somebody during a couple of the previews, because a lot of horror films previews. Mm-hmm. I heard somebody, and I think it was that Midsommar cult movie that I want to see that I talked about. Somebody went, "Oh no, 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 no."
That was me secretly. I was in the theater and being like, "No, that's not happening."
I can't wait to see that one. I don't know if it's gonna be good or not. No. That's what Jordan Peele's gushing over. But
and
with our mix of opinions on Hereditary, and this is the same director, so I loved Hereditary.
I liked Hereditary until we went there.
See, and I loved it.
That happened, and I was like, "Oh, we're going here. I'm out," because I just, I mean, that stuff's real, man. You don't want to.
I know, but that's what makes it so creepy. That's what made the new Child's Play movie creepier, because it's a possibility, as opposed to the summoning your soul into a devil.
I know, but I mean, that could happen too. That's what happened with Annabelle. She's evil. And that's a real story, because those people are real, and the doll was real, and it's really in their house, and you have to go bless it. It's all
that's
real.
the other thing we got to talk about is this weekend. They have the Annabelle Artifacts Tour is coming through Dallas. You can go to our website at
HollywoodMatrimony.com.
It has the information there on there in the live events.
Yes.
Basically, it's like a trailer kind of thing. It has, like, I believe, a photo booth where you take a picture with Annabelle or as yes, you are, or as Annabelle in, like, the glass case. You're going to do this, and you are going to do this for the show.
Okay, I'll do it for the show.
And then it also, I think, has a lot of the artifacts that are, like, in the Warrens' room.
Oh no!
So we're gonna go out there and cover that on Saturday. I think they're gonna be there Saturday and Sunday. So if you get a chance, you want to see that kind of cool thing.
I'm gonna have to sage myself before I go.
I'm assuming there'll be all kinds of weird photo opportunities and stuff, and so we're gonna go out there.
I mean, it'll be interesting. We'll broadcast live.
We'll broadcast live from the Facebook, and then we'll post a video on our YouTube channel, because we can't do live mobile yet.
Yeah. We're getting there, because we only need 1,000 viewers, and we are up to how many subscribers?
Let's not tell people publicly, because it's just sad.
We only started like 2 weeks ago.
I know, we only started 2 weeks ago. That's the other thing, is we're going to try. It may take a few weeks to really get the hang of it, since we're still trying to put it together. But we're also toying with trying to do a midweek kind of mini show, where we'll talk about maybe the trailers that came out that week, the new movie news, what giveaways we have, discussions of what's going to happen on our show this weekend. So that way it gives you a little more content.
Well, I'm excited about the possibility of maybe doing one big fancy show.
There is a discussion that, I don't know if we're going to do it or not, but there is a discussion of possibly doing a live show at a studio
show, which is what I've been wanting.
But it may have to be on a different day. Maybe have to be on like a Saturday. It'll probably be like a once a month thing.
It'll be Super Saturday.
But this will be a big production with an engineer and green screens and all kinds of stuff.
That's all I'm asking for, babe.
So we'll see.
Why can't you just
we'll see if that's going to happen or not.
Throw some dollar bills.
Don't worry for the 3 fans that love the show the way it is. Yes. Don't worry, this show will still exist as it is. So anyways.
It'll be fun. We love you guys. Thank you so much for watching.
Oh, we do have some giveaways still.
Yeah. On the website. Come on, Betty.
We don't have a ton right now. We do still have this Double Impact Rewind Edition giveaway. That was shutting down this week. We still have a couple of General Commanders left. Nice. Believe it or not, some people have entered that contest and wanted it. So people did want Steven Seagal, so you just calm down. But we do have a couple left. I'm glad
for you guys.
We have a couple left. And the Unity of Heroes, that Wushu movie, we still have a couple of those left. And then we have a couple of other contests, I think, that are fixing to pop up that I will let you know shortly. One of them was, what was it? Oh, Nerd. It's not up live yet, but it's a movie called Fury. It's the latest martial arts flick starring, it's Victoria, I don't know if it's Nago or it's NGO, so I don't know exactly how to pronounce it. But she played Rose's sister in Star Wars The Last Jedi. She's the one that exploded.
Sorry, I went somewhere. A long time ago, at one of my very first little jobs helping people, there was this little Mexican guy, and the last person's name was Nguyen, and he would say, Nguyen. And I was like, no, it's Nguyen. No, Nguyen. Because he didn't speak English or whatever. Sorry, go ahead. Because you said NGO and you don't know how to say it. Sorry, I digress. Rose's sister from Star Wars.
Anyway,
She was only in it for a minute, and I think she seemed like really cool. So
well, she was.
Is she good in this?
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, come on, Betty. Let's watch it.
Well, we're going to, but it's basically about a woman whose kid's kidnapped.
Look at that.
The woman's kid is kidnapped, but what they don't know is that she's like a former gang leader, and she stops at nothing to find her kid.
What?
So we're not only giving away a copy of this, I also have an autographed mini poster that is autographed by her, by the director, I believe, and one of the other stars, so that'll go along with this. I have a few of those, so if you enter the contest and you don't happen to win the prize pack of both, I may still send you over a copy of just a poster.
It could technically be in your Star Wars collection.
It could technically. So, and I may be getting to interview her here soon, so we'll see how it is. Because I'd like to talk to her. So how is Rose? How is it growing up as Rose's sister?
Don't be that guy.
And then dying for nothing.
Wow.
Anyway.
Wow, we went dark. Okay, so be sure to check out our website, HollywoodMatrimony.com. Hopefully you're watching us now on Facebook or on YouTube at Hollywood Matrimony. We're also on Instagram at Hollywood Matrimony and on the Twitter at Hollywood Matter, MATR.
It's a lot of crap.
It is. We're everywhere. We're everywhere.
Yeah, we're nowhere.
Wah, 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 wah. Thank you so much for watching. Did I go over? We went over a little bit. You know what? That's okay. Overtime.
What's our time?
We try to do an hour show.
We don't have a time. We're freed up adults.
I guess, but then we're like, oh, y'all took too long to get started.
No, that's just one person.
Running late. And then, whatever. These are the things I've heard. And then they want us to fight more. They want more of Vader. There's so many. I mean, if I could put all of this into a show, it'd be 2 hours. Because we have to do a fight.
Why are you yelling at me?
I'm just telling you. Thank you so much for watching. We could cut off that whole 5 minutes.
We're not going to, though. We're keeping it forever.
We're just going to stay here.
Because this is how life is. But don't be weird.
All right. I got to go turn off all the cameras. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week.
Peace and love.
Peace be with you.